So with that said, Stina, I am happy and thrilled to announce to you today that we have actually a surprise and a very, very special greeting for you and to all of you others who have joined us today. So with a little assistance from the technical support behind the scenes, I'm happy to introduce you to Andreas Norlen, the Speaker of the Parliament in Sweden.
Hello, my name is Andreas Norlen and I'm the Speaker of the Swedish Parliament. Thank you for inviting me to the release of this book on Swedish Fika. I'm actually mentioned in the introduction, so I'm grateful for this opportunity to share some thoughts on Fika. I have to confess, rather fond of biscuits and pastries and enjoy meeting for a cup of coffee and something sweet in various contexts, following the Swedish Fika tradition. I think it's a pleasant and relaxed social activity which suits most people. Perhaps you know that the process of forming a government in Sweden took an unusually long time following the elections of 2018. We had a complicated political situation and I had to call the party leaders for talks 7 times in all. I often thought then that one of the most Swedish things to do when you invite people for a discussion is to offer them a cup of coffee and a bun or a biscuit. That is what I was thinking when it was time for the first round of speakers' interviews with the 8 party leaders. We must have some coffee. If you sit at each side of a table to talk, it's bound to be a bit more stiff and formal if you don't have a cup of coffee in front of you. I invited everyone to different kinds of pastries, including vacuum cleaners. I don't know if you have tasted them, but I'm particularly fond of them myself. I also have a weakness for cakes and biscuits of a more sturdy kind, like filled chocolate biscuits. The Prime Minister's favorite, on the other hand, are Finnish shortbreads, not very sturdy at all. And they are incidentally not Finnish, but Swedish, which the Finnish ambassador to Stockholm pointed out at the time. One of the party leaders actually brought buns he had bought himself. He had baked himself to one of the meetings, and I really appreciated those. They were quite delicious, and I was very impressed with his skills in the kitchen. The media and of course the entire Swedish population followed the process of forming the government with great interest. In the beginning, great media attention was actually focused on the very fact that I invited the party leaders to coffee and pastries. The photographers were at some points waiting outside the speaker's corridor, trying to get a picture of the trolley with the cups and the biscuits on it, and the journalists were at more than one occasion asking questions to the party leaders regarding if they had appreciated the biscuits and which biscuits were their very favorites. And I can understand this, because at the beginning of this process there wasn't very much to report on politically. So the media focused more on coffee and buns instead, on Fika. But we actually did talk a lot about politics as well. And eventually the Fika angle became a bit less apparent in the media reporting. But despite that, I do realize that my meetings with Fika, with the party leaders, did make a mark in Swedish political history, and I hope that the protracted process of forming a government with all its coffee drinking and consumption of biscuits helped raise the Swedish the Swedes' knowledge of democracy and perhaps create at least some international attention around the very Swedish tradition of Fika. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share these experiences against a backdrop of my own collection of political coffee mugs. Thank you.
Amazing, so great. And unfortunately, Stina, Andreas Norlen's duties didn't allow him to join us live today, but he solved this with the cooperation with his press secretary behind the camera. So let us say thanks to both of them for this greeting. So let's give Andreas and his press secretary a warm round of applause, people. Andreas' greeting both revealed the importance of Fika, of course, in the political arena, but also a well-kept secret. Actually, the favorite pastries of two of the most powerful leaders in Sweden. Actually, the vacuum cleaner and the Finnish shortbread. So if you ever wonder what the government in Sweden likes for Fika, now you know.